Jim, do you have an agenda? Okay.
Ready? Okay, good morning, everybody. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning. Calling the roll for the Monday, March 7th Board of Control meeting. Nan Baker. Here. Dale Miller.
Here.
Jim Boyle serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones.
Present.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever.
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer.
Here.
Catherine Takache.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is the minutes from February 28th. I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
No public comment. Well, let's move on to our first item, please.
First item, BC 2022-126, Department of Public Works, submitting an amendment to a contract with Stonehard Division of Stonecourt Group,
I blew my nose.
Incorporated, for epoxy flooring and wall covering for the Jail 2 kitchen project at the Justice Center for the period December 6, 2021 through December 5th, 2022, for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $44,700.
Hi, good morning. This is Matt Rymer representing the Department of Public Works. This amendment request is to finalize the contract amount for the work completed at the Jail 2 kitchen project, specifically for the flooring scope and wall.
Here you go.
being recorded.
I apologize, I keep getting disconnected from my network. Can you hear me okay, Sharon?
Yes, we got you, Matt.
Thank you. So this work was needed, the amendment work was needed as a result of some change conditions with the installation of the drainage systems for the new jail kitchen equipment. I believe board members have a series of pictures in front of them, pictures 4, 5, and 6 that are labeled in the lower right-hand corner of each picture represent the work in progress that was on the flooring work that identified the additional ridge lines of about 1.5 inches that had to be increased over the entire project area to have these go into the right slopes for the drainage system. And that is the amendment scope that is in front of you, is for that change in elevation, increased grout amounts, and increased labor to lay that grout at the correct slopes that was issued by the architect by a change. Happy to answer any of your questions on this item.
Thank you, Matt. Are there questions from the board on this item? Councilwoman Baker.
So was this an oversight by the architect that it shouldn't have been included from the beginning, or was this a necessary change that was unforeseen?
So to Councilwoman Baker, it was a necessary change that was unforeseen specifically. So the architect issued the project drawings over a year ago. We then procured the kitchen dishwasher equipment through a competitive formal bid, as well as this flooring scope. The flooring scope was bid out with the original architectural documents. However, the jail kitchen equipment, when it was received in late November and installed in late December, had to be installed in a way that differed from the architectural drawings. And so that drove the change to the flooring vendor.
And of course, the difference between the equipment that was different than what we thought we were going to need and the flooring costs. I'm sure the equipment costs more than the flooring to get the equipment that would have fit.
So yeah, no, the equipment was as received, but it was, again, the design was pre-demolition of the space. So when you get into demolition and then you actually install the equipment that you receive through the bid effort, that was different than the slopes that were anticipated by the architect at the time of design. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
sure. Any additional questions on this item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2022-127, Department of Public Works, recommending an award and enter into an agreement with Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District in the amount not to exceed $14,000 for technical assistance with various activities in connection with the implementation of soil and water conservation measures for the period March 27, 2022 through March 26, 2023 for stormwater pollution activities associated with National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System construction activities in the amount not to exceed $8,500 for public involvement in public education program activities in the amount not to exceed $5,500.
Nicole English with Public Works. So this is a partnership that we've had for many years. As part of our federal construction projects, there's requirements that we have to monitor our activities related to pollution. And so they provide us with reports on our construction projects. They go and review them and tell us if there's anything that's not functioning. And actually, the price that they charge us is very cheap compared if we had to use a consultant to do this work. So we've had this in place for many years. The other component that I know you guys had a question about is the public involvement in public education, and that's related to our permits that we have through the EPA on our sanitary side. And so they provide us with materials. We actually have some bags that they gave us last year with pamphlets and things you hand out. You might see around this building even about, you know, what not to flush down the toilet or things that you shouldn't pour in drains outside. So it's kind of educational things like that that we put out through our website and different coursework that we'll send our employees to use too. So it's a two-part, two things that they do task-wise. But again, this is a good partnership that we've had for many years.
Thank you, Nicole. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-128, Department of Public Works, recommending an award and enter into a contract with Petty Group LLC in the amount not to exceed $45,500 to furnish and install decorative metal fences and gates at the county-owned parking lot located at East 40th Street and Perkins Avenue in the city of Cleveland for the period July 31st, 2021 through October 31st, 2022.
Good morning, Matt Rymer again with the Department of Public Works. This contract request is a supporting procurement for a capital project to improve the recently purchased Perkins lot, which is at East 40th and Perkins Avenue, directly to the southeast of the Halley Archives and Board of Elections building. This portion of the project will install the required fencing around the perimeter of the project during the improvement. The remainder of the improvements will be conducted by the county trades. This fence line was the one required by Midtown District through our permitting process, and we're moving forward then with the installation and construction. This construction season is our intent. The advanced question on the dates of this project. So this fence work installation and material was was informally bid in early 2021, and there appears to have been a discrepancy that it did not move forward. The vendor assumed that they had a contract and they procured the material, and they have it in storage. No other work had been completed though. In negotiating with this vendor recently to move this item forward, we worked to backdate the contract so that we could take advantage of the pricing of the fencing at that time versus the escalated pricing that it would be now, since they already had the material in storage. So that's the reason why we have a date of July 1st of 2021 on this contract, July 31st as the start date of this contract. Happy to answer your questions on this item.
Thank you, Matt. Questions from the board? Councilwoman Baker.
Is 8 months enough time to perform and finish this project?
It will be specifically for this procurement. That is a function of this project. Yes, we may have other work that continues throughout the construction season of this year, but it will be enough time to complete this contract. Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyle.
I think the lawyers get scared when we backdate contracts, but I understand what your intention was on there, Matt. You did an informal bid process on this, Matt?
We did, based on the dollar amounts under 50,000 for this procurement. And if there's any questions on the specificity of that, I think Tom is online and might be able to help out. But yes, it was an informal bid.
Yeah, I just want to know, I mean, and how many we sent it to. You can do it offline. I just want to, if Tom
Sure.
can get me that information. And then the last thing, Matt, on this, I think it's part of the Midtown area or whatever they call it. Do they have, like, are there qualities or the ultimate fencing that's going to go up there? Are there architectural things that we have to adhere to relative to the ultimate fencing that's going to go up there?
Yes, sir, there are. So we went through the permitting process for this, just as the same as we did with the Chester lot next door when we improved and purchased that lot. They required this wrought iron
Right.
fence versus a chain link fence with barbed wire. So we worked with them during the permitting process. The Sheriff's Department was involved in that to explain our security requirements for the lot, as well as then to work with them on the aesthetics of what it would be. And so that is part of the formal process of getting construction permit through building and housing. They defer to the Midtown District to comment on that, and that's part of the permit discussions and approval.
All right, I just want to make sure that you've dealt with them. They're involved in the whole process, and all right, fantastic. Thank you.
That's correct. Yep.
Are there any final questions on this item? Seeing none,
Tom Pavich, just to add to that, Matt, yes, this was bid. It had multiple efforts, and it went to 14 vendors each of those 2 times.
All right.
Petty Group was the only bidder. It was 2 efforts.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Thanks,
Okay.
Tom.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-129, Department of Public Works, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Train US Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $234,500 to refurbish the existing chillers from the HVA system at the Jane Edna Hunter Building for the period December 1st, 2021 through July 31st, 2022, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Matt Rymer again with the Department of Public Works. This is a capital project to refurbish the existing two chillers on top of the Jane Edna Hunter Complex. We're having age-based concerns with the two chillers there, and the refurbishment that can be offered by the Train manufacturer, these are Train chillers, will give us a significant amount of longevity on the existing equipment, especially compared to the cost of new equipment, which would be more than double this contract price. So our technical team has evaluated it and determined this is the right way to proceed. This procurement is being requested through Omni Public Sector Partners Government Cooperative Agreement, through which Train, the manufacturer of these chillers, has a contract with and offers the most competitive pricing to perform the work.
Questions? Thank you, Matt. Councilman Miller.
Yes, my question is whether this is simply a repair, or does this do anything to enhance the efficiency and operating effectiveness of the system?
Through the chair to Councilman Miller, it's the latter. We'll get significant more efficiency out of this. We will get upgraded refrigerant, going away from the old and no longer used refrigerant, which is much more expensive, as well as replace motors and other pieces of equipment that will be more efficient, and repair our coil systems and other things that may potentially allow for leakage in the system and make the system less efficient.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Councilwoman Baker.
Just quickly, this contract ends July 31st of this year. Is 5 months or a little less than that enough time to finish this project?
Through the chair to the Councilwoman, yes, it is. Specifically, we will be completing this refurbishment prior to the cooling season. So this is a critical time period for us to get this done before the warmer temperatures begin, and we need that equipment online for the building.
I may follow.
Yeah,
Was
please.
there a reason why we didn't address this sooner? I know weather certainly plays a role, but it's pretty mild, and could we have done this maybe in February or end of February, or why is it that we're looking at this now going into March and April?
We've been working on this project and procurement since March of last year, which is when we started negotiating with Train through the Omni Public Sector's Cooperative Agreement, and it just took us this long to get to the contract execution stage.
Wow.
We would have liked to have done it earlier, yes, Councilwoman. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any final questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2022-130, Department of Public Works, recommending an award and enter into a contract with Stonehard Group in the amount not to exceed $19,945 for the replacement and installation of flooring in House Pod 3 at the Juvenile Justice Center for the period February 28th, 2022 through March 31st, 2022.
Good morning. One last time for Matt Rymer from the Department of Public Works. This contract request is also for Stonehard, unrelated to the first item, 126. This was an informal bid attempt for flooring repair services to damaged flooring in House Pod 3 that working closely with Juvenile Court, they need to have back online in detention prior to March 23rd, which is when they have Ohio Division of Youth Services coming through the facility again, and they need to have that capacity restored to the detention. So we'll be working to get this work, as well as other work by our county trades, completed by that time.
Thank you, Matt. Questions from the board? Seeing no question, yeah, Councilwoman Baker.
Given this is your last today, we ask a lot of questions, but we do appreciate the attention to detail and you having all the answers. It's just our job to ask, but we appreciate what you do.
And I appreciate the questions, Councilwoman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-131, Department of Information Technology, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to DLT Solutions, LLC, in the amount not to exceed $60,562.65 for the purchase of 65 plural site business enterprise licenses for the period March 7th, 2022 through March 6th, 2023, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Morning, Janelle Green, Department of IT. This item is actually a training platform for our web development teams, both here at the administrative building and also through HHS. This was a project actually we started looking at in 2019 to see if we could find a training platform that can provide several different coding and coding languages and different kinds of required training for our already employed staff members to take part in. This is an online training platform, so the employees have the ability to log in from their computers to learn these through these different modules, and their directors or administrators have the ability to record and monitor their progress through the training modules. We did procure this through the GSA platform for use by the county.
Thank you, Janelle. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item,
Thank
BC
you.
2022-132, Department of Workforce Development, submitting an amendment to a contract with Fund for Our Economic Future of Northeast Ohio fiscal agent to support workforce innovation and coordination in healthcare, manufacturing, information technology, and hospitality sectors in connection with the Workforce Connect Development Program for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, to expand the scope of services to support activities designed to eliminate the talent supply demand gap in Northeast Ohio's in-demand industries, effective upon contract signature of all parties, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $225,000.
Good morning, Frank Brickner from the Department of Workforce Development, seeking approval to amend the current county contract with the fund to allow for federal Workforce Investment Opportunity Act dollars to support this initiative. This is a specific service that our funders, the Department of Labor, specifically authorizes as they encourage workforce areas to participate in sector partnership initiatives. And we've been pretty excited what we've been able to see to date in that. Like with the manufacturing sector initiative, we've been able to refer individuals to sector-led training programs that have been designed by businesses. And we're starting to do something similar with the IT and the healthcare sector. So this is an opportunity for individuals we serve to get referred to programs that tie to jobs.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Questions from the board on this item? Councilwoman Baker.
Sounds like a good initiative. Do you track the outcomes of who you refer and whether they followed through and ultimately got the job they were hoping to get?
Yes, we do. In fact, I asked for data for manufacturing, for instance, and at least through last fiscal year, we started with 41 referrals. Over 2/3 of them completed training, and I think about 60% got jobs in manufacturing. Slower start, but we're doing reentry and young adults. So it's kind of a population that, isn't the easiest, it's no creaming here. And we're starting to do with healthcare with a partnership with Tri-C, who interacts with the clinic, Metro, and UH. And we just started referring individuals, so the jury's out on that program, but we're very optimistic because you have very willing employers waiting to hire.
As a follow-up, that's really good to hear, and I appreciate your work on this. Do you expect from here forward, as this evolves, that you will be tracking those that, as they continue to go through this process?
Yeah, absolutely, we do. We track everybody, what program they're in. So yes, we will have that. I think the key, that I see is if these programs are successful, to scale them, that way we'll make a difference, in it. But yes, we will track, we will see how many we referred, how many completed, how many got employed, and how many retain their employment.
That's all good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any final questions on this item? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item's approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-133, Office of Innovation and Performance, recommending an award on requisition 7696 and enter into a contract with Maher Jusel in the amount not to exceed $400,000 for consulting services for American Rescue Plan Act compliance and reporting for the period March 7th, 2022 through March 6th, 2025.
Good morning, everyone. Becky Eby with the Office of Innovation and Performance. Through the American Rescue Plan Act, Cuyahoga County is expected to receive approximately $240 million from the United States Department of the Treasury in 2 payment tranches. The American Rescue Plan Act requires that these dollars be used to support urgent COVID-19 response efforts, replace lost revenue, support immediate economic stabilization of households and businesses, and address systemic public health and economic challenges. In addition to these statutory eligible uses, the county must also ensure applicable compliance and reporting requirements included in the award terms and conditions, authorizing statute, implementing regulation, and other regulatory and statutory requirements, including the uniform guidance, which the county was largely exempt from when it came to CARES Act dollars, are followed. Through this contract with Mayor Dissel, Mayor Dissel will provide technical expertise and support to ensure the county meets all applicable compliance and reporting requirements. Services include assistance with ARPA reporting packages, audit preparation, and eligibility and award verification. This contract was competitively bid with a total of 6 proposals received. Mayor Dissel's proposal received the highest score from the evaluation committee and was also the lowest price. Mayor Dissel is focused on providing audit services to clients in government and nonprofit sectors. They currently serve over 300 governmental clients, and government services make up about 60% of their service profile. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, they've expanded services to offer consulting services for funding streams from the 2020 CARES Act to the American Rescue Plan Act. And they're currently supporting a number of government organizations in Pennsylvania, including Allegheny County, as well as the city of Pittsburgh. This is a 3-year contract with 2 one-year options to renew.
Okay, thank you, Becky. Are there questions from the board? Councilman Miller.
Not a question, just a couple of comments. First, that even if we spend all of the money in this contract, it would be less than 0.2% of the money that we're receiving from the American Rescue Plan, and I believe it to be wise and prudent to spend this money to make sure that we do everything correctly. And I would also add that in that you put out 23 bid packages and had 6 different bidders to choose from. It also appears that we did a good job of competitively bidding this contract. So this is something that I fully support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments? Mr. Boyle?
I don't think anyone would disagree with what Councilman Miller said. I think it's vitally important that there's that we retain outside assistance in helping the county, whether it's county council or the administration or the next administration, make sure that we are complying with all the regulations for this fairly substantial amount of money. Becky, I saw that you mentioned that it was a 3-year contract with 2 one-year options. What is my recollection is that there's a drop-dead date that the money has to be out the door. And I apologize, I just don't have my cheat sheet in front of me. When is that?
End of 20.
Yeah, so funds have to be allocated by December 31st, 2024, and they have to be spent by December 31st, 2026. With that being said, we know that there'll be, there'll be probably some audits and some things that we might want the consultants to help us with, after dollars go out the door. So we're just making sure we have enough coverage over the, immediate 3 years to come, and then possibly 2 additional years if we need it.
Could not agree with you more. I think it is wise to keep this entity involved past the spend date so that the compliance aspect of this can be met. I think that's a nice play.
Okay, seeing no further comments or questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2022-134, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division. Submitting an amendment to a contract with Kronos Incorporated for maintenance and support services, software support services on the Comprehensive Human Resources Management System for the period April 1st, 2017 through March 31st, 2022, to extend the time period to March 31st, 2023, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $41,771.33.
Good morning, Tamika Bauer with Juvenile Court. There's a big echo.
Yeah. Do you have your computer and your phone on by chance?
No.
Hmm.
Is that better? I don't have my computer on. I mean my phone, sorry.
Okay, let's give it a whirl. Talk lightly.
Okay. This item is to provide for the maintenance component of the software supportive services, for the equipment, educational services as well, for our time and attendance system with Kronos. The court does realize that the contract is aged, and they have elected to work towards processing the RFP for 2023.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
In your answer about the ERP system, is there a time when you think the courts will use the ERP system rather than managing this? I believe you're saying this on its own.
I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?
Stopped. What happened?
We're going to mute her while we're talking, and then that'll hopefully let her
okay.
unmute while she has to answer a question.
All right, try that again then, Councilwoman.
All right. In the answer back regarding not using the ERP system for the courts, is there a time when you think you will? Do you have a reason why you're not going to be using the ERP system so that we're all on the same computer management? Why do you choose to use Kronos when you have an ERP system that can be used? How long do you determine you're going to stay on your own?
Okay. I'm not quite sure why they chose not to use the ERP system, but I can get that answer back to you.
We're only talking, let's see. We're talking 1 year for $41,000. So you're electing to use the Kronos system for 1 more year. Perhaps maybe after that year, you would be having a second thought once the ERP is up and running. If you could get back, that would be nice to know what the plans are.
I sure will.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Maybe we can work on a test pilot next time. It seems to happen a little bit more often with juvenile court, doesn't it? No? Okay, all right. Let's go next item, please.
Next item, BC 2022-135, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Weltman Psychological Services in the amount not to exceed $80,000 for psychological evaluation services for the diagnostic clinic for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Tamika Ballard, Juvenile Court. This contract provides psychological services for the court's diagnostic clinic. The reason why the court has not sent this contract out for an RFP is because we tried it last year and we didn't get any body to bid on this. To our understanding, this has been a hard contract to find professionals to take on this. And then when we do find them, we're finding that the rates are increasingly high. So at this point, Dr. Waltman was written into this contract, but we do plan on processing out for an RFP for next year.
Okay, questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Boyle. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-136, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, recommending awards and enter into agreements with various municipalities in the total amount not to exceed $9,200 for community diversion program services with City of Shaker Heights in the amount not to exceed $6,800 for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023, and with the City of Fairview Park in the amount not to exceed $2,400 for the period February 21st, 2022 through December 31st, 2023.
Good morning, Tamika Ballard, Juvenile Court. These are the cities who participate in our community diversion program that partner with Cuyahoga County to keep kids and youth from official court involvement. We are late because we actually didn't get some of the documentation until after the first of the year. So my apologies for that. And we have approximately 1 to 3 more forthcoming.
Okay, thank you, Tamika. Questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-137, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award and enter into a contract with Camp Homeda Coda Foundation in the amount not to exceed $18,600 for the Camp Hope Summer Program for the period March 7th, 2022 through August 31st, 2022.
Public safety? Mary Beth? Oh.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, there you go.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, this is a week-long summer camp for children who've been exposed to domestic violence, sexual assault, and/or child abuse. This is the only Camp Hope in the 5-state region and one of only 3 Camp Hopes in the Midwest. The other 2 are in Rockford, Illinois, and Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Camp this year would be July 31st through August 5th. We did conduct 2 solicitations and we received 2 proposals. And we're making a recommendation to the lowest cost vendor who also submitted the highest rated proposal.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth. Questions from the board? Councilman Miller.
Yes, 2 quick questions. Where is this camp located and who was the other proposer?
The camp is located on Auburn Road in Newberry Township. It's off Route 87. And the other proposal was Camp Hiram House.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any final questions on this item from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-138, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, on behalf of the Sheriff's Department, recommending awards and enter into various contracts with CLX ES Incorporated in the total amount not to exceed $177,900 for maintenance and support services for the period January 1st, 2022 through November 30th, 2023, in the amount not to exceed $130,000 for the fixed automated license plate reader system, and in the amount not to exceed $47,900 for the mobile automated license plate reader system.
Thank you, Sharon. As the motion read, this is extending the maintenance support for two aspects of the LPR system to coincide with the end date of the maintenance and support for the Phase 2 fixed LPR system, which is currently under warranty until November 30th, 2023. This may sound familiar to you because you did approve an RFP exemption on October 12th. It is our intent to go out to bid in late 2022 or early 2023 for maintenance and support for the entire system. These two contracts are late. We did encounter an issue getting the insurance documentation back from the vendor. It went from, they first submitted on December 2nd. We did not actually receive the corrected documentation until February 1st. It was complicated because their legal counsel who handles their insurance is actually based in Italy.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth. Questions from the board on this item? Mr. Boyle.
Wait, Mary Beth, so are there, and I apologize, are there two separate vendors that are in here?
No, it's just one vendor. The mobile system we purchased back in the early, I want to say like 2010, 2012. And then the fixed license plate reader system, we went out for competitive bid. It was coincidentally awarded to the same vendor who we purchased the mobile system from. So they're two different systems.
Okay.
That have now, and we're just trying to coordinate all of the end dates of the maintenance.
Got it. All right, so this, I got you, because there's two separate contracts that came through, and I was just a little confused. All right, got it, thank you.
Sure.
Any final questions from the board? Seeing none, I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item is approved. Next item, please.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2022-139, Office of the Medical Examiner, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Ron Smith and Associates Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $72,000 for consulting and firearms evidence examination services, commencing upon contract signature of all parties through September 30th, 2022, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. Ron Smith and Associates is a firm that specializes in ballistics analysis and comparisons. We have a bit of a backlog in the firearms unit that we noticed at the end of last year. We approached a number of our partners in the justice system, the prosecutor's office, the courts, as court is starting up again today post the latest COVID iteration. We're going to need to have a lot more of this backlog cleared, and we just simply don't have enough analysts to do so. There are different stages in the ballistics lab. The initial submission of evidence is entered into what's called NIBIN. So there's a process there where we can have people who are not as extensively trained put that information into NIBIN. Once it's there, it needs to be correlated and compared with other cartridges and photos that are in the NIBIN system. That would take a significant amount of time. At the end of last year, we were able to secure an agreement with ATF for the National Correlation Center in Atlanta to do that work for us because of our increased caseload. Cleveland had instituted a system called ShotSpotter. You may have seen there was an article or a news story recently. And essentially what it does is uses detectors in the community to listen for gunshots and kind of gives a general direction and area for police to follow up on those. As a consequence, we went from about 4,500 submissions in 2020 to about 8,000 last year. So we almost doubled our caseloads. And that's kind of what's causing this backlog. When we addressed this with the chief of staff and the director or the chief of public safety, we came up with a plan. Part of that plan was to get some of our internal people trained up to be able to do more of the comparison work now that they didn't have to do correlation work. It takes time. It'll take actually like months, if not years, for this whole process to play out. But we know that this is going to be an ongoing need for the laboratory and for the community. Just gun violence has been very high in the last 2 years. So what Ron Johnson is able to do, or Ron Smith and Associates, they have a team that can come in, take some of the evidence, use the equipment that we have, and actually do some of the back end comparisons with the microscopes. In addition to the 3 scientists that we have, we'll be able to clear a lot of that backlog in a relatively short period of time instead of waiting to train our own people and then get them up to speed on how to do those comparisons. So it's about a 3 to 4 month period that we're looking at. I think the contract goes till September, but we should be done well before then.
Okay, thank you, Hugh. Questions from the board? Councilwoman?
Go ahead.
So just curious, we settled on this one vendor because of the immediate need, and this ends in September. Will you go out to bid again for a broader selection, given you have 9 months now or 7 months to look at who else is out there?
It's anticipated, Councilwoman, that we will not need to go back out, that by the time this contract is up, we will have cleared the backlog and we will be far enough down the road with our internal training that we'll be able to handle the caseload.
Good, thank you.
Sure. Okay, Mr. Boyle.
Hugh, I apologize. I don't really understand. So what exactly is this vendor going to do? I mean, and why is the medical examiner's office? I mean, so here, and I'll take it back a step. So the Cleveland Police had a scientific investigation unit, and so they would test firearms and obviously in their cases. In the Ohio Attorney General, they do the rape cases and they do evidentiary aspect. I mean, what is the medical examiner's role in this, and why isn't this with the prosecutors or the police departments or the Ohio Attorney General's office?
Well, we run the forensic lab for Cuyahoga County.
Okay.
So our scientists take the caseload off of the state system. We're able to do that scientific testing internally now. Cleveland no longer has those capabilities in their laboratory. They shut their lab down. Everything was transferred to the regional lab here at our office.
And who's doing it now?
We are. There's just too much to do.
Okay.
We have 3 scientists who are trained to be able to do these microscopic comparisons and analysis. Like I said, there are basically 3 portions. The first 2 are being done by lower level scientists. We have to wait until folks get trained before they're able to do this detailed analysis. So Ron Smith is able to bring in a team of accredited, AFTI-accredited scientists who are trained to do this detailed analysis, along with our scientists, our 3 high-level trained scientists, to try to clear that backlog.
Okay, any additional questions from the board? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2022-140, Prosecutor's Office submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to M&J Technologies Direct Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $7,600 for a state contract purchase of NetApp disk drives for storage of body camera video and cell phone video evidence, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Someone from the prosecutor? Or this be IT? No.
No, it's a prosecutor's, but I can answer it. Let me start video. So this is, they needed to have storage for their body camera video and cell phone video evidence. They need to have that to be indexable, separate from their other storage. NetApp is one of our IT standards. So with this, I know it went to TAC and it was approved just to verify that their storage needs were being met. So this was purchased off a state contract, and M&J is one of the vendors that we do go to because of their quick response time, and they have a wide availability of stock to fulfill our requests.
So what I'm hearing is just to store the body camera video evidence, so it's just more storage?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so body camera footage and cell phone video evidence, it's taken up a lot more, it takes up a lot of storage, especially with the proliferation of the usage of those. So they definitely needed to incorporate a separate body to house all of that, because it's a lot of footage when you think about all of the officers that are wearing body cameras throughout their whole shifts, and then getting cell phone video evidence. It's a lot of storage that's required for those, and they definitely needed an apparatus to house all of that.
Okay, thanks, Janelle. Questions
Sure.
from the board? Yeah, please.
So is there a time limit that that is stored for? How long do you keep that on record?
That I can get it from the prosecutor's office. I would be willing to state that it's for at least the duration of the investigation from the prosecutor's standpoint. The sheriff's office, and if they get it from different law enforcement agencies, I'm sure have their own housing for or storage for their data. Again, how long this is used for? Again, probably the duration of an investigation plus for the period in case there's an appeal. But I'll have to get that specifically from the prosecutor's office for you.
If it's anything different than that, I would be curious, but you're probably right.
Yeah, I'm assuming they have a policy. I think Pete would have that, but.
Yeah, I can reach out to Pete.
Okay.
Janelle's right. I mean, they hold on to it through the duration of the case, and if it's a capital murder case, they've got an obligation to hold on to it forever. So, I mean, and I'm sure that's in
Yeah,
the contract.
I'm sure that's their policy as well. So maybe reach out to Pete and have him respond to the board. All right. Thanks,
Sure.
Janelle. Any final questions? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2022-141, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Office of Homeless Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with BitFocus Incorporated for implementation, configuration, migration, operation, and maintenance of the Homeless Management Information System for the period March 10th, 2020 through December 31st, 2024, to expand the scope of services for analysis, cleanup, and custom development of system data, effective January 1st, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $81,800.
Good morning, Paul Porter, Health and Human Services, on behalf of the Office of Homeless Services. This is an amendment to Homeless Services' existing contract with BitFocus that runs through 2024 for operation and management of the HMIS, or Homeless Management Information System. That's the data management system used by the Homeless Services Continuum of Care here in the county, which is required by HUD as a condition of delivering these services. Office of Homeless Services is using dollars from the 2022 HUD planning grant to pay for modifications and improvements to the HMIS system that are going to allow Office of Homeless Services to better meet updated HUD data standards that just changed for calendar year 22. And these updates are going to improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the HMIS, particularly related to analyzing and customizing data collection and reporting. This is dated January 1st to match the date of funding availability from HUD. We were notified of the award amount for the HUD planning grant towards the end of 2021. And then Office of Homeless Services and my team worked with the vendor to determine the scope of services, assess what changes were needed, and then agree on a cost for the modifications to the system before we could put the amendment forward. Happy to answer any questions, and I believe Melissa and Aaron from the Office of Homeless Services are here if you have questions about the system itself as well. Okay,
thank you, Paul. Questions from Councilman Miller, please.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm good with the item, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Paul, on your nomination to be the new Director of Purchasing for Cuyahoga County. You have worked long and hard in the trenches, and it's very well deserved, and it's good to see capable people promoted within the system to a significant promotion. I wish you the best of success.
Thanks, Councilman Miller. You're going to make me blush. I appreciate this.
I will second that, Paul. It's been a pleasure to work with you, and you are a very detailed, always have the answers, and if not, get back to us. So congratulations on your new role.
Thanks again as well to you, Councilwoman Baker. I appreciate it.
If his head gets any bigger, we'll be in trouble. So with that,
it won't fit on the screen, Mike.
I will make a motion to approve this item. Is there a second?
Already tipping their hat. They gotta go to a confirmation. You
Seconded
guys might
by
wanna, maybe it gets out there. You don't
Councilman
like what he has
Miller.
to say.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on to exemptions.
Moving on to exemptions, item BC 2022-142, Department of Public Works, requesting an alternative procurement process which will allow formal bid specifications to be issued to include brand-specific medical supplies for the animal shelter.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This item, we have an upcoming formal bid that's going to be released for medical supplies. This is in general bandages, drugs, medicines, etc. We have 151 line items for this. Some of the products in that bid will be brand specific. The request of purchasing, we need to request the alternative procurement to allow brand specific specifications in that bid. And this is the alternate procurement that will allow that. Once this is approved, we can move forward with purchasing and finalizing the bid package, have it released, and the contract will hopefully come forward in the coming months.
So Tom, I have a quick question. I'm assuming the kennel manager and the medical team at the kennel supports the brand specific?
Yes. So one of my analysts worked closely with the kennel manager. We took the last specifications, modified them, made some adjustments, and the items that are specific, these have historically been used by the kennel. They've been successful, and they come at the recommendation of other vet care professionals in the industry.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the board? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2022-143, Sheriff's Department, requesting an alternative procurement process which will result in award recommendations to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $20,000 for routine and emergency veterinarian services for the K-9 unit for the period March 7th, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, with the Family Pet Clinic in the amount not to exceed $7,000, Cloverleaf Animal Hospital in the amount not to exceed $3,000, Metropolitan Vet Clinic in the amount not to exceed $3,000, Robertson Went Animal Hospital in the amount not to exceed $3,000, and providers to be determined for emergency services at the nearest vet clinic in the amount not to exceed $4,000.
Good morning, this is Philip Lilly from the Sheriff's Department. We are requesting approval of an alternative procurement process to award purchase orders to the vendors with the amounts listed. As stated, these purchase orders will be used by our law enforcement canine unit for routine care and emergency services if needed for the canine dogs.
Okay, Philip, looks like you're trying to cover all the necessary needs for these animals with this action. So I will open to questions from the board. Seeing no questions? Okay, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item is approved. Moving on to consent agenda.
We are on items BC 2022-144 through 147.
Okay, board members, take a look, please.
Just a comment, as we emerge from the pandemic, there seems to be pent-up demand for travel.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, some of these, in all honesty, the way we're doing it, some of these used to be on one item for 7 or 8 people. Now, to track the individual spend, we've been breaking them down more into individual people. So it does look like a lot more, but you're right, there will be more demand.
Make comment on that. I did notice that many are going to the Indianapolis, and there's several pages instead of all on one. And when I looked a little closer, I imagine there's carpooling, so some have guests and some don't need it, and then there's some that are lodging, perhaps they're grooming together, so one may have lodging that covers more. Things like that. Is that what the differences are?
Exactly. And the goal is to ultimately, if someone asks how much an employee was reimbursed, we'd be able to tell. Sometimes it gets lumped in that big total.
Right.
And this is better tracking, better accountability. Obviously, a little more upfront work, but be better in the long run.
Good. The one, it's just a small question, it's more curiosity. On the one expense for registration is $445, and everyone else is a little less. Is there a reason why one is more than the others, given that you're breaking it down?
I see the one you're talking about. Is anyone from the public defender here by chance?
Yes, Mark Budzer with the Office of the Public Defender.
Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, I'm sorry. It depends. Well, there are a couple reasons as to why there are different registration fees. One is that people were attending for 3 days, others were attending for 4. And then with your various licensures, Mr. Humes is not licensed yet, and so they're charging him slightly extra.
Okay, well, that answers it.
Yeah, and Mike, again, this falls under staff development, which the Ohio Public Defender will reimburse fully.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely, Mark.
Thank you, I appreciate it. I know it's a small amount, I was just curious.
Okay, very good. Are there any questions on today's consent agenda items as noted? Seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Today's consent agenda is approved. Moving on to other business.
No other business?
No other business. Any public comment?
No public comment.
I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Miller. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.